being that EXP position.
A lot tankier with all the resources. And Aran, we know how he is when it comes to the fights. He knows how to position to be annoying, not just with the damage, right? With the threat, with the mind games as well. So the Hylas is a good fit for him as well. But for Team Liquid, their friends are in high spirits. They're expecting something massive, some big statements in the first two picks. Have it shown already. Along with that, it's going to be a drawhead though. Expect the pick-off gameplay against a Hylas though. The Harriet already means more burst damage, less DPS. They have to find a solution for this unless they really believe they have what it takes to circumvent and just avoid the Hylas altogether.
The Harriet and a Jawhead pick for MPL ID still does leave them very vulnerable going up against the Hylos. The Hylos, we've seen even yesterday, you know, Yeb falling down in the draft up against the Hylos by not really going for a pick that can actually, you know, counter the Hylos. No damage. Maybe they might actually want to go for CC last pick, not too sure about that. The Harriet, though, does give GFAM the opportunity to go for Lunox. And we know Masako can play the Lunox real good. He decides to go for the Moskov. And the Julian, actually, you know, again, prioritizing Vincent in the first phase. When you don't get the Roger, with the Ling and the Fanny's been banned out, you got to give him a hero that he's comfortable with. And it seems Liquid will do the same, getting the Nolan for Fabian. But still, this Hylos has remained unanswered. No response from Liquid just yet.
It's going to be very interesting to see the jungle, right? The magic dealing hero against the physical healing, dealing hero in that jungle position. Second phase, going to be the Phobias here, banned out. Considering, yeah, they got the Harriet, the hero with dash ability. Yeah, let's just ban the Phobias out just to be safe, because it's so annoying dealing with the Phobias with a vengeance that is just right in your face.
Ooh, Phobias. Especially with the way they want to jump in and do damage. And the Phobias now has a healthy amount of crowd control too. So you have to remember, it's going to be a lot more sustainable and hard to catch if they're really trying to go for that pick-off style. For now though, with the Phobias banned out, with the Edith banned out as well, both teams still putting their eyes on potentially the EXP and Roamer, and the mid lane that is usually so much more prioritized. You're only seeing that Sushin ban, so both teams are still hiding it out. For GFAM though, if they really want to go for this front to back with this hard crowd control strategy, the Aurora is still very much a possibility for them.
Yeah, TL are leaving their cards open right now. They want to go for any the bans towards the Zask, Aurora, or even the Valentina. They decide to take away the Fairness. So setting up for a possible Zask pick. We know that the Zask has been struggling up against that Fairness, so especially a boy on the Fairness, one of his signature picks. GFAM ban out the Edith now. Are they going to ban out another enabler in the side lane? With a Nolan, usually you expect a Terizla together. But GFAM decided to actually ban out the Exborg again, setting up for their Hylos and perhaps telling Liquid, go for it, go for the CC. We'll have ways to counter it. This is the flex. This is why Team Liquid haven't gone for an XP just yet. They don't know whether the Hylos is going to go into XP or Roam, and it will leave them very vulnerable to another counter pick. If they went CC here, Hylos gets flex into Roam, and then GFAM get an XP that can just neutralize that CC.
Well, for now though, they can hold off on that, pick a mid lane first, that's a bit more versatile. They can very much be used in multiple ways and leave that last EXP pick to really make that decision. Because they need a very strong frontliner too now. They went for the Terizla, even though they can't really have any ways to deal with the Hylas. They need that front line to ensure that the Jawhead has ways, has space to go around and go for the dive.
Oh, Gacha! What? Remember yesterday, Rashi, we foreshadowed this already. BPP, the War Crime General. He played up against Liquid too. It was Yaoi who posted it on IG story. Baloy, stop playing these heroes. It's gonna be banned out, and Liquid did not ban it out. What is this man planning? What is he scheming? This guy, again, this is a Gatot Kacha. We don't even know what dynamics a Gatot can bring to the table.
It's a lot of tankiness.
Oh man, a lot of tankiness, and on top of that, a Hylos Arashi. I mean, man.
That is my main concern, man. A Hylos and the Gatot Kacha, that's just way too much tankiness to burst through. They need something that can do an insane amount of damage, because otherwise, GFAM will just simply outlast them.
Here's the thing, they banned out the Phobias for a reason, right? And Gatot Kacha somehow serves the same purpose as the Phobias. Sure, it doesn't punish you the dash ability, but man, he can jump to the back lines technically, and also can engage. It's going to be very annoying during turtle takes and lord takes. Expect the alt avatar of the Guardian to come through during this Lord fights.
And don't forget that passive, man. When he gets hit, he takes damage, he builds up that rage, and he does a ton of damage and still sustains a whole lot as well. It's almost like a different, more aggressive style of a Hyla. So I think Team Liquid have to take this one seriously, man. This Gatot is a lot more dangerous than I think a lot of people really understand at first glance.
And it's a revitalize. It's a double revitalize.
Man.
Oh, no.
They're really playing with the sustainability. They're playing with the long team fights. And ladies and gentlemen, a debut pick for Gatot Kaca. We haven't seen him in what looks to be years and years of MPL Indonesia. Let's welcome you guys into the land of Dawn as Franco hooks us in. It's Gatot Kaca, the Indonesian hero in MPL Indonesia, being used by a Filipino player, Baloyski.
Will it come through? Will it come to fruition? Let's see game one.
All right, a bit of poetic for Baloyski, but look at that meter under his HP bar. Boom! That's damage, that's sustainability, man, and that can really throw off your calculations, especially if your team relies on burst damage. Sometimes you think that Baloyski is going to go down, but he might just survive it. You can see he has skill. He has damage with the Nightmare Spawn, but against these beefy members, it's not going to be enough. Team Liquid have to find a different way right here, unless... And if they don't, really, if they don't start snowballing, the Jawhead will start to lose in risk, you know? I think Geek Fam can start ignoring it later on. Emblems by IndieHome right here, though. 3 tenacities for Geek Fam. They know that pick-off is the name of the game for the side of Team Liquid. They don't want to give that back at all. And for Team Liquid, that's a festival of blood for both Aaron Shiki as well as Aran. So both trying to go for sustain. Look at Baloyski.
Baloyski now already tanking so much, really quite low. Aran is there from the flanks. No first blood just yet here. Both teams just feeling each other out.
Exactly. Really just going to go for those jabs, you know, little by little. They didn't really bait out a lot of big abilities. Baloyski's Revitalize was used up, but it's only on a 1-minute cooldown, so still very, very okay. But yeah, Rashi, man, Geek Fam are really doubling down on that tankiness, huh? Vitality, tenacity, to revitalize, and it's a Gatot and Hylos, man. If you told me last season that we were gonna see Gatot and Hylos be prio, or actually just be picked up,
hey,
I would laugh at you.
You told me this morning Gatot will be picked up. I'd be like, nah, man, nah.
You want to make that bet, Gani? Definitely not. Geek Fam, though, with the Gatot Kaca first onto the Turtle, getting ejected too.
Yep, not level 4 though, just yet. Turtle's guard will be popped prematurely. Oh, Turtle penalty zone. Vincent finds the Turtle. Boy, this time will not be able to survive. But first blood still goes to MPL ID Iran. Isolated. That's a equalizer by Geek Fam.
They use so many of their resources on Baloyski. And Baloyski loves it, man. That's why we call him the War Crime General. Sometimes he plays the game in odd ways, but it always works out. Masako.
Oh, forced to flicker out right there. Aaron Shiki showing again the laning prowess. But oh, here comes Baloy.
Doesn't really connect.
Hey.
Aaron Shiki. Baloy showing style there. Aaron Shiki still has the Purify, so technically he is fine. He's a level under though.
Look at the talent prediction here by the new application GoPay though. Seems like it's a bit even actually. Geek Fam for me, Donnie, and all. Papulong, KB, and Mirko going for Team Liquid, so a nice distribution here among the casters. But back to the game, man. For Baloyski on the Gatot Kaca. Oh, never mind. Oh,
that's an Eternal's guard. Vincent finding a kill. 2 kills already on the board for his name. It's very, very good foundation built for that early game.
And a great Turtle, too, right? So 1 Turtle, 2 kills on Vincent. That's been consistent here as TLID continue to just react to the plays of Geek Fam. And that's something that's you don't want to be looking at. That's something you don't expect with a composition with a Jawhead, a Zask, and a Nolan. They should be the ones making the proactive moves, and it does seem as though Geek Fam, with this Gatot Kaca pick, it just really neutralizes the threat of the Jawhead in the early game, because he can open up these bushes and survive in these, you know, pick-off situations.
The Hylos and also the Gatot Kaca, because the passive, the Steel Bones, gives the Gatot Kaca more physical defense the lower he is on HP. That's the big problem right here. Team Liquid They have to pick between jumping on a high loss or a Kacha, and both are not exactly the right answer. Everyone else are just too far behind unless they can go for a big dive. And here we go, though, turtle pick.
Yep. Vitalize the backside, but it's going to be the turtle will be the main agenda. SOD. Oh my goodness, Vincent Hill claims the turtle. Weedy will not be able to survive again. Geek Fam, they win the turtle fight.
Vincent just walked out of the penalty zone. Slick maneuvers from Mr. Vince. Then you see that retribution come in handy as usual, as clean as ever. Geek Fam, it seems they're the ones who are charging. They're gonna take tier 1 in the mid lane for free.
Under 5 minutes as well. It's not a good sign for TLID here. Vincent taking on Aran. Aran needs to back away considering the mana, but it's still going to be Geek Fam here, just snowballing. 2K gold already.
And the more snowball they get, the tankier that front line becomes. And to make things worse for the side of Team Liquid, even the gold lane, the Harriet Moskov matchup where we were expecting Aaron Shiki to take over, who was doing great, but with Beloy showing up, with the intervention coming in from the rest of Geek Fam, seems like Masako is actually still equal, and even picked up an assist already at this point. So, man, it's gonna be looking really tough for Team Liquid later on in the mid-game when the fights get longer and longer.
See this game fact by our new application, GoPay. This marks the debut of Gatot Kacha in Season 14 after last being used in Season 6 of MPL ID by Keira. It is now known as Fluffy from Aura in their 2-0 loss to Bigatron Alpha. Veldora walk it up.
The flicker now, penalty zone. Eternal Scar though will try to stop Ron in the backside. Beloyski trying to harass Fade, and Ron will not survive. Veldora quite low, and Aaron Shiki secures it. It's gonna be Weedy falling next. Aaron Shiki isolated. Vincent claims the double. 3 members from TLID down and out.
They just cannot deal with the sheer amount of HP being shown in front of them. Veldora and below. You get rid of Veldora, there's a Gatot. You get rid of Gatot, there's a big horse on the way.
To make things worse, to talk about big bodies covering the vulnerable backliners, the Eternal Guard, for good measure, man. There are 3 massive bodies in the front tanking everything. Fabian, ooh, can he get out?
See 2v1 potential 3, but Fabian still too slick, able to get out. Vincent claims the turtle, so neutral objective. It's perfect for Geek Fam.
It really is, man. You can't get less clean than this for Geek Fam. It really looks like a composition built to slug it out, but TLID have just not been able to compete in terms of damage output. I mean, they have been able to, but not against Veldora, right? Their targeting needs to be fixed here. TLID, the way they can actually deal with Geek Fam would be fully dive over to a boy and Masako. Maybe that would be a way, but the fact that they are down by 4,000 gold, that's already a problem. That's a big hurdle at the start of the game.
And honestly, for them, it makes it more difficult. Oh, Aaron Shiki almost gets bursted down.
Double force though. Oh my goodness, a boy with the early winner crown? What? Now it's gonna be purple buff contest again.
We'll take
They
it.
have the setup.
Baloy?
Baloy taunts one. My goodness, Iran melted, shredded down, and Geek Fam again claiming the jungles of the cavalries.
Ooh, let's look at the items for a bit. Head of Heaven and Starlium side for Aaron Shiki, but he's really unable to really do much. Whereas Masako already building onto the Demon Hunter's sword. That's the power spike we're waiting on, and the 2 Thunderbelts just for good measure. And we talked about the solutions potentially for Team Liquid. That's exactly where the Winter Crown comes in so early. And to make things worse, honestly, the Julian, the Vexana, and the Moskov, all 3 are quite good at dealing with dive heroes anyways. So this is an amazing draft with no real loophole, but Veldora gets jumped on.
Just the horse though. Horse pathway, Beloyski finds one. Dynamic will come through. Witty clutch with the flicker. Fabian does not deal damage towards Beloy. And TLID, yeah, it's evident that they're lacking in damage.
You don't bring a knife to a gunfight because Gatot Kacha has those guns in his arms, man. Beloyski just smacked Fabian as he tried to go for those slashes. And it just doesn't seem like TLID can respond to this Witty.
Oh, good taunt here as, oh my goodness. That's a big penalty zone, but Witty gets taken down as well. That's Masako. Aaron gonna be mounted. Aaron Shiki finds the shutdown, finds the triple. And let's see here a boy against the 3 members of TLID. Is this the comeback?
Is he gonna do it again? He did it against Bigatron Alpha in the defense. Geek Fam were a bit too greedy. The Eternal Guard not gonna steal it. My lord, Geek Fam clumped up. The combos were all there. TLID, their composition thrives on AoE damage, and Geek Fam took it head on, face first.
Massive swing proficiency. Even the Heskiel just zapping everyone, beaming through the whole team, and Aran landing the penalty zone. Everything already worked out so well for Team Liquid, and the Lord, I believe, helped them out with a massive knockup on multiple members of Geek Fam in that fight. That was unfortunate, but now it's back to square one. Geek Fam can still tank it up, can still deal with these waves, but now Team Liquid, they have a chance to try and apply some macro pressure right here. Look at this though, they're clumping up together actually. Not really getting a lot of these objectives as the Lord is pushing on the top side.
Here below you see engaging on towards 1-0. They're gonna commit this fight. Iran will try to survive, but they fall. Aaron Shiki this time does not find the comeback. Now he's isolated, and Vincent finds the triple. It's gonna be 4 members here still, 5 members still standing for Geek Fam.
It was a very, very
Questionable.
Oh yeah, this engagement very questionable because for TLID, the way they were able to win that fight was a very specific way. It was very conditional. Everything needs to line up perfectly for them to get all the AoEs, penalty zone, fracture, dominators, ascent, and obviously, you know, Aaron Shiki with the Herod. If you can't get that, if Geek Fam are able to play it front to back, there is absolutely no chance that TLID get even through the front line. So the fact that they didn't use the Lord, the fact that they try to go for a fight, that has to be a big, big mistake, and now they're gonna pay for it. That comeback meant nothing.
Immediately after that, 3.4k gold lead already for the set of Geek Fam. Now for Team Liquid, it's even worse. They had that momentum, they had a chance to kind of equalize. Of course, when it comes to items, now they are closer to their own power spikes, but it's the same idea, right? Even if both rosters right here are on the same power curve, the composition-wise, the issues are still the same. And to make things worse, we saw earlier that the damage coming in from Vincent and Aboy really is ramping up, man. And even the frontliners of Team Liquid have to be a bit more careful in how they want to approach this. Aran is immobile, and the only really way for them to really get him out of danger is for him to use that penalty zone. But if they use that, that also signals that it's a green light for Geek Fam to just rush through at them. We saw that even with the Zaman Force for Aaron Shiki to move backwards, the Glorious Pathway just negates the whole thing. With a Demon Hunter Sword completed for Masako, he can go for more fights right here.
Look at the damage there, just by Vincent alone. He's leading in gold, by the way, 2k against his counterpart, counter jungler. That's a lot of damage, that's a lot of farm already built up for Mr. Vincent.
For a team like TLID, who really rely heavily, usually on the early game and mid game to get that snowball going, the fact that they're behind up against a team like Geek Fam, a team that has the opposite style. Early to mid is usually their weak side, their you know, weak point. TLID haven't been able to expose that because Geek Fam have 2 beefy boys, and now in the mid to late, it can only get cleaner for Geek Fam for BBB.
Oof. Man, Aran at this point has a reading armor, but he is looking very, very squishy, man. So many ways to do damage for the side of Geek Fam. And of course, Aboy, he has the Wishing Lantern, by the way, on the Valentina. Bit of an unusual item to see. Usually the Valentina really wants to get more burst damage, but I guess where he knows that the fights are going to be drawn out like this, the Wishing Lantern might really swing the tides in his favor as well. 4k gold lead is not impossible to come back from. With the Lord in the picture as well, Team Liquid has one more chance. Can they find it?
Look at Beloy. So, Veldora zoning.
Yep, Veldora looking for Yeheskiel to bait the Dominator's descent early, but they do not fight. Lord, it's gonna be the reset. Oh, flicker penalty zone. That will be the collision. Fabian secures the Lord. Aran gets taken down. Aaron Shiki though, overextended. Now Yeheskiel forced to use that Dominator's descent to escape, finds it, and now Weedy looking for an escape route. That's TLID securing the Lord.
Great Lord take by TLID, utilizing Aran to dive in back to force Geek Fam away from the Lord. But after that, they decided to fight. Aaron Shiki lost his life. And now this actually might be a Geek Fam angle. Ooh. So look for a play. The Lord will be spawning in the bottom lane. They might be chased away from this Install Force.
Oh, does not connect though. On towards the ejector. The Lord still marching, but Geek Fam, they're able to poke this Lord to at a 65% HP. So now, TLID, they look the other lanes. Fabian finds the mid. The inner should go down to.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. SOD finds the mark. Oh, the ult. It doesn't connect though. Fabian again. He will farm another clip.
The usurper finding clips. Fave is what Mr. Gani calls him, and he definitely added the Flav in this game. 0-0-5, but with 2 Lords under his belt.
Taking the one turret in the mid lane as well as taking away Geek's attention because they were rotating to try and help out. They weren't able to clear the Lord on the bottom side as well. Team Liquid, now if they can fight with the Lord, technically the front line discrepancy can be negated for them. They have to wait on the waves though and try and match it together because you can see Geekfam they're going for a play.
It's going to damage onto it. Ron Shiki! Vincent will find the kill now. It's going to be a collapse. Ron goes down. MPL ID running for the hills before taking on the Lord. What a decision call by Geekfam.
Ron Shiki, way too aggressive. Overextending. None of the frontliners were there to cover. And technically, that's the problem. Who's the frontliner? Aran is squishy. He can technically be a backliner. Same goes for Jawhead. It's the opposite of Geekfam, who have all the beefy members in the world. Aaron. Up and in.
Damage! But that's cover from a boy. It's going to be Weedy. He has kill now, trying to defend. Mid-base taken down. Beloy engaging onto his Weedy. Weedy uses the flicker. Aaron now back in the fight alongside Aaron. 2 base turrets now taken down.
That was a close one, man. Vincent immediately recognizes the potential, goes for the Winter Crown with his Immortal. Actually, no, hang on a minute. Yeah, I think he sold the Immortal, goes for the Winter Crown right there. They have to understand that one of the big damage dealers from the side of Geekfam is Vincent. He's been sneakily sliding in the midst of these fights and just dealing a lot of damage with the basic attacks. You look at him, full items already in his inventory. Now look at this. Once more, a play to the purple buff to really shut down Fabian. There's nothing that Team Liquid can do about it. Ooh. Oh, never mind. Yehezkiel actually snipes it away. On the way to a Holy Crystal as well. If he starts scaling, he does do a lot of DPS, and the Holy Crystal is indeed completed. Is it enough, though? With the Lord doing a lot more damage, that's possible. But this time, with the mid and bottom side...
Oh my...
A run!
He's shocked. Penalty zone now. Yehezkiel, though, will find the flanks with the Dominance Descent. Aaron Shiki free hitting as well with a Shaman Force inside. A boy secures the safety, but Vincent claims a double. Now looking for the triple. Masako is in the fight as well. 1 by 1, they charge, but 1 by 1 they fall as Vincent finds the Maniac.
Geekfam are the ones charging. The cavalry have been halted in game 1. That's a horse against the horse, and that's a base for game 1 for the Geeks.
Man, Geekfam with the big brain draft, the big brain execution, no loopholes left open for Team Liquid. With all their flexibility, all their aggression, in the end it means nothing. Maybe the greatest offense is a great defense.
What defense? They were going forward. That's probably what Beloy's gonna say. My goodness. The Gatot Kacha's debut turns out to be all good, all fine and dandy. A lot of you guys might think it's a cheese pick, but to Geekfam, what is a cheese pick? They're the ones to pull up a Natalia, a Saber, and a Helkert Rome in this meta. If Poisey was here, he would definitely say Lubukan Baloy to every single one of you that wants to try this in rank, so please do not. Let's take a look at this highlight again, Rashi.
Wow, it's just a massive fight overall. And with the backline, it's so funny, right? Because for Team Liquid, their win condition is to go towards the backline. But instead, Geekfam were the ones who were able to withstand all the aggression and send Masako, send Vincent to the backline and delete all the other sources of damage. Aaron Shiki, with all the hype behind him, was completely shut down from the laning phase, from the team fights. Every part of the game was just completely dismantled by Geekfam.
The draft. It all started in the draft, and you guys can hear or read the game highlight, depending on what you want to do, because I'm going to read it out for you. The cheese with Gatot BBB. Big boy, big brain. You know who it is. Baloy outdrafted TLID in game number 1, and it certainly was an outdraft. Hylos first pick, not responded. Still all the way to the second last pick of Liquid. They didn't respond to it. They picked up Terizla. That can be an answer if they have someone like a carry maybe in the backline to deal damage, but the fact that they go for the Harith first, has been troublesome for them. They put themselves in that position. They put themselves in a tough spot. Maybe Bigatron picked up Harith first pick yesterday. They lost. Fnatic Onyx pick up Harith first pick. They lost. And now we see Liquid first pick Harith. They lost again. Maybe Harith isn't that prio anymore. You know, maybe we've seen a change with the Lunox, with the Moskov, with the Hylos now available. It really takes a whole lot of that early game snowball team fight power away from the Harith.
And maybe a lot of gold laners have kind of figured out how to deal with it, right? At least how to lane against the Harith without really being too punished. Because we saw that is exactly what Masako was able to do on the Moskov. Of course, intervention from the other laners were there as well. But overall, that was just the name of the story here. For the side of Geek Fam, it's out-sustain and out-damage, right? Even the backline, the Vexana and the Moskov is just doing a lot more damage to the front line compared to the Harith with the Zask as well. You almost wonder what would happen if Team Liquid goes for something a bit more crowd control heavy. You saw how much they were clumping up, right, for Geek Fam to really get that security, to really get the safety in numbers. And if they went for something like an Aurora maybe, you know, something that can kind of stop the frontliners from just barreling through and just jumping on Aaron Shiki, maybe it could have really gone differently. But in the end, the same problems still stand there. And you do wonder, what could have been a better pick for Aran on the Terizla, right? Because he was supposed to be the tanky member. He wasn't, man. He simply wasn't.
I mean, let's see who will get the MVP here. Yeah, I mean, Mr. Vincent, 17 kills.
17.
I think that's the most kills season 14, right?
Yeah, for a single game.
17.
Oh, Mr. Vince.
Miss Leonardo